Great honor today. Thank you. I have the great honor today of introducing an agent in my agency who has really just shown up for herself, for her agents, her team. She's just very consistent. She is from day one has just been really coachable, has leaned into all of the systems here, using all the resources that we have. I look up to her a lot, especially when it comes to like help with like switchboard and funnel, like she's really just leaned into that kind of training there. And so I'm just really excited to see what she has here for us. She's a key leader in my agency. She this last month was she was in month 3 of AO. So I think we got that locked in, and I'm really excited for Snapshot to come out so we can confirm that. But I want to introduce to you guys Jenn Langeliers. Let's see if
Good
she's here with
morning.
us. Good morning. Hi, Jen.
Hi. Thanks for having me, for inviting me to speak, guys. I'm really excited. I'm uh thanks, Angel, for the intro. And it's I don't know, I'm just so honored and grateful to be on your team. And Craig and you guys were just so lucky. So thank you for this opportunity. And kind of like in that video that Jim shared a few days ago or last week or whenever, like I'm excited to have done this. not, not so excited to do it at this moment, but we're here and we're gonna do it. And so yeah, so bear with me, everybody. I'm not natural at anything. Except for maybe smiling and laughing. I'm good at that. So we're gonna share with you guys today a little bit about my story. I'll just be honest with you guys. My story isn't spectacular. It's not one of those stories where someone just like rockets to success overnight or hits AO the fastest humanly possible. Mine is a very regular story. But here's kind of what I've learned in my life, and what I'm learning here is that spectacular endings are built on regular persistence. So it's kind of funny that Angel brought up consistency because I'm going to be talking about that a lot today. The cool thing is, though, that you guys' stories are really great. Ordinary stories are really great at proving one very powerful truth. Okay. That is that the people who keep going, those are the people that win. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So put a 2 in the chat if you guys feel like your story is kind of ordinary. Let's see, maybe some 2s in there. Okay, so I'm not alone. You're not, fastest. You're not maybe on the top of every leaderboard or getting shout out all the time. Um, you know, Not necessarily a rags to riches. Yeah, so then I'm in the right place. But persistence, you guys can turn ordinary stories into extraordinary ones. I'll just kind of share with you guys from the beginning. I grew up the youngest of 5 kids. We had a great childhood. I had 3 older sisters and then an older brother and then me. So if you've ever been the youngest in a group, you know what that means. You're always chasing. My entire childhood, I was like desperately wanting to keep up with them. Um, I wanted to do what they did. I wanted to dress like they dressed, talk how they talked. I just wanted to be in the same group as them. Um, they would, we lived like a mile away from a convenience store. And so they were all a bit older than me, right? So they would get to walk to the store and like buy candy or soda or whatever, and I would like beg to go with them and like, please let me come with you. And they're like, Jen, you're gonna say it's too far, you're gonna get tired, your legs are gonna get tired. And I was like, please, I promise, not this time. And so they would let me tag along with them every once in a while. And then it wouldn't be, I don't know how long it would be. It would not be very far. And I would be tired and my legs would be sore. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, I can't say anything. They finally let me go. And then my sisters, right? It's a house of lots of girls, right? Everybody feels sorry for my brother, but um my sisters would put together these dance routines, like little recital type things for my parents. I know they were so cool. They would take these like they would take days to practice. And I would always want to be included, right? Like I wanted a part in the dance. And I'm sure that my parents, forced them to give me something to do. So I usually would have the role of stopping the music and rewinding the tape and then going back to the right spot and then playing. Like that was my role. That was the role I got. So I don't know if anyone else out there has ever felt like, on the sidelines, right? Watching everybody else do what you wished you could do, right? Well, that was me. I felt on the sidelines for all of my childhood. But here's the thing, being left out didn't make me quit. It actually lit a fire in me. So it made me want to catch up. It made me want to prove that I could keep up with them. So that's where my lessons in persistence sort of started for me. So if I couldn't join them, I was going to outwork them until I could. So then came sports. Our family, like everybody played baseball and softball, and so of course, if they did it, that's what I was going to do too. So here's the truth: I wasn't natural. I was not a natural athlete. It didn't come easy. I wasn't some like phenom or anything like that. And as as gets talked about in here regularly, softball is brutal or there's a lot of failure there. So there's not a lot of hiding if you're not very good at it, right? So I remember batting was particularly hard for me. I could not time the ball. I struck out constantly. I lived at the bottom of the lineup. Um, but it's funny because like when I was preparing this talk, I realized like I never even thought of quitting. Like at no point
Hi, Liz. This is Karen Simmons.
at no point during my time was I like, I hate this. I suck at this. I'm never going to get better. Like, I just remember always thinking and knowing, like knowing deep down that if I just continued, like I would have to get better, like if I just kept going, I would get better. So, and honestly, I'm a little competitive, right? So I wanted to go further than my sister and brother ever did. So, that competitive drive kept me in the game long after most of the kids I grew up playing with walked away. And that's the moment a lot of people face in life and, even in symmetry, right? Is when it gets hard, when the results don't come quickly, when the talent, that you might walk in with doesn't seem to be enough, right? That's when most people quit. So fast forward in time, I got to high school age. I still wasn't a star, not like a standout or anything. I was just there. I kept going through like kind of early high school. It was just kind of basic. But I remember before my junior year, I decided I kind of, I knew I was going to be on varsity that next year. Like I needed to kind of step up. So I trained with a personal trainer all summer. I wanted to give myself every chance to kind of grow, right? So that year, I got that spot on varsity and I ended the season with the highest batting average on the team. So that was pretty awesome. My senior year, I was co-captain and with one of my closest friends. And on game days, like you wouldn't get as much batting practice in, right? So she and I would wake up early before school, which is a lot for a high schooler, I feel like. And I was never a morning person, so this is really early for me, you guys. And on game days, we would run extra batting drills before school started because I knew if I was going to maintain that same level of performance that I did the year before, that I was going to need as many bats as possible. So when that season ended, I did finish again with the highest batting average on the team. I'd gone from, in my softball life of being the bottom of the lineup to consistently batting number 4. And if anybody knows, like that's where you put the person that you can count on, right? Runners are on base, they're going to hit the ball. So reliably hitting the ball when the pressure was on. So let me ask all of you guys here, how many of you know someone out there who had all the talent in the world, who just seemed amazing, but quit before they ever got anywhere? So that's what separates winners from everybody else. I didn't win. I didn't get to where I was because I was the most talented. Far from it. I won because I was the most persistent. Talent is flashy. It's top of the leaderboards. It gets shouted out all the time. Persistence is quiet. But in the long run, persistence is what wins. Okay. So that's the same exact lesson. I feel like that has carried me so far here at Symmetry. When I came into this business, I did not expect greatness right away. I knew better. I didn't think I would hit every promotion on my first try. I was open to it for sure, but I knew what I did know is that because of how I was raised and through sports, that success comes to the one who sticks it out. So I've definitely hit roadblocks. Have I missed promotions? Yes, I have. I wasn't one of those people that got, 80 to 95% in 3 months. I think I missed 90% by less than like $1,000 or something like that. So yeah, that hurt. I think there were tears. But here's the difference. I didn't stop swinging. Okay. And that's the key that I want to get across to you guys here. So my goal isn't to be the fastest. My journey is still going, right? This is kind of where it all AO or on the edge of it, on the brink of it, right, is where it begins. So my goal isn't to be the fastest. And my goal is certainly not to be the flashiest or win every single round. My goal is simple, and that is to be consistent. Consistency is what compounds, right? Consistency is what builds momentum, and consistency is what wins in this business. So, if you guys are sitting there today and you feel like you're not where you thought you'd be by now, right? Hear me when I say this. You do not have to be perfect to win. You just have to keep going. So let me leave you with this. Persistence doesn't look glamorous. Persistence looks like picking up the phone when 10 people have hung up on you. Persistence looks like setting another appointment even when the last 3 no-showed. Persistence looks like staying on track when maybe others around you are slowing down. That's what wins here. Not flashes of greatness, but the steady grind that no one sees. So most people lose here. We've all heard this, before. I think this is a common theme for a reason, right? Most people don't lose here because they're not capable. They lose because they quit too soon. But if you don't quit, if you keep stepping up to the plate, you'll win. So, you guys, whatever setback you're facing, whatever goal you might have just missed, whatever excuse you have that's, tempting you to maybe change course, don't let that be the end of your story. Stay in the game, keep stepping up to the plate, because your hit is coming if you just don't quit. So that's all I got for you today.
Oh
Thank you
my
for having
goodness. I
me.
love all of your baseball analogies that you like throw in
I
there
knew.
and
I
stuff.
was like, when I said it, I was like, Angel's gonna love. I compare,
Yeah.
my weeks a lot of times to, like, oh my gosh, that was a drop third strike. Got on base barely, but
Yeah.
anyways, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was kind of like a coincidence that like, like you are the one that like is very consistent and you show up and you plug in and like you do like all of the things every single day. Like, yeah, you may not be like the most talented. And so I thought it was just like coincidence that that's kind of how I introduced you and it just kind of like went along with what was on your heart today to share with us. And it really is so true, right? Like it's not something where like when we are, bringing people into the team, like we're not looking for the most talented person. Like that most talented person is, may not be like a huge asset to our team. And so it's really just about like coachability and plugging in and associating and really leaning into the system. Like those are like, the things that you've been doing and you're always so like even killed, right? Like I just feel like even when you do like, miss promotions, it's not like a spiral or anything. It's just like you just okay, it's fine. And I'm like, I really like that about you, where you kind of just keep like your emotions in check, and you just know that if you keep doing all those right things and staying persistent, you're gonna win here. So thank you so much for sharing that. That was really, really awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, I
Well,
believe, I don't know if
that was
it's
awesome, Jennifer. Thank you very much. I mean, that was
Oh,
just amazing.
thanks.
And breakout rooms are all open, and Scott's running the prayer room today, guys. Have a good day.
Hey Joe, can you just I can jump in here too. I want to make mention because I told Marcy I would do it last week and forgot, and then I don't want to forget again. Marcy Cruz runs an accountability group on Saturday mornings. She reached out and said, "Hey, a lot of us work Saturdays, and this is our rhythm and workflow. Can we do it on Saturday?" I'm like, "Hey, if you see a need, step up and meet a need." So that's exactly what she did. She's been running it for weeks now. She put the Zoom link over in the comments. So if this is part of your rhythm and your workflow, and you want to associate and get the impact of this group on Saturdays, it is there in the comments for you. Copy that link and join Marcy Saturday mornings.